Hello everyone. In today's video, I'm going to go over things that I strongly recommend that you consider after you've gotten the federal position and things that you want to target and think about immediately after the excitement of getting that new job in the federal government. And many of these are applicable to any job, government or not. So let's get into it. First up, retirement. And I know you're like, what? Retirement? I'm too young to be no, you're not. You always need to be thinking about your retirement. You always need to be preparing today to take care of the future you. And you'll be so grateful on the back end of all the work you've done up front. So retirement. The Civil Service Federal Employee Retirement System, also known as FERS, consists of our three-legged stool approach for retirement. The FERS, the pension portion itself, the thrift savings plan, and Social Security. So after you join federal service, or any job at that matter, you want to think about how can I maximize my retirement options. The FERS pension is a monthly payment that you'll get as a federal retiree for the rest of your life. The amount that you'll receive depends on the number of credible years of service you have and your highest 3 salaries that you've earned. The more years of credible service you have, the bigger your pension will be. And obviously, the higher the salary, the more that's being tucked away. The Thrift Savings Plan, or TSP, is a retirement plan for federal employees. It's similar to a 401k or an IRA. The TSP gives federal employees the opportunity to save and invest in 5 different funds throughout their career. By the time you retire as a federal employee, your TSP fund can have hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars depending on how you invested throughout your career. Social Security, we all know what that is, and we all know have heard the rumors about it, but basically it's the benefit calculated from your highest 35 years of work. Ways in which you can maximize it: you can go ahead and wait till 70 if you want to. I'm taking mine as soon as that 61 clicks to 62.
Come on, keep working.
Go home. No.
So federal retirement. To retire with an immediate and unreduced pension, one of the following must be met. You have to be 62 with at least 5 years of credible service, or you have to be 60 with at least 20 years of credible service, or you can retire at your minimum retirement age with at least 30 years of credible service. Your minimum retirement age, MRA. Just think of it basically, if you're born after 1970, your minimum retirement age is going to be 57. Whew, I'm tired. Y'all good? Okay, let's press to point 2, TSP contributions. Up to 5%. That's what federal service will match what you contribute into your 401k, or TSP rather. If you come in the door and do nothing with retirement contributions, the agency automatically contributes an equivalent of 1% of your salary. That's not of your salary. That's just 1% the agency has funds set aside to contribute to your retirement if you contribute nothing. If you throw in 1%, the agency will match it 1%. And then you have the automatic 1%. If you throw in 2%, the agency will match 2%, and you have the automatic 1%. 3%, match 3%, 1%, and so forth, until you get to the up to 5% match. Let's examine another way. If you make $50,000 a year, the agency will contribute 1% of that to your retirement. That's garbage retirement planning. However, if you contribute 5% of your $50,000 salary, the agency will match that. And that's money you can't afford to leave on the table. Come on, y'all. Point 3, the HSA or FSAFEDS benefits. But before I go there, I want to mention tax sheltering and put a definition of tax sheltering up on the screen. An example of tax sheltering is how a U.S. sitting president who earns over $400,000 a year and forgoes his check can still end up paying less taxes than you or I. Don't hate the player in this situation. Learn and use the game where you can. Your TSP, HSA, and FSAFEDS are different types of tax-sheltered plans. So let's go back to our $50,000 salary. TSP allows you to contribute up to $23,000 a year. 46% of your salary. So you'd only pay taxes against $27,000 versus $50,000. The HSA contribution limit is $41.50 for self-only. That's 8.3% of your salary. So you'd only pay taxes against $45,850, or you can do nothing and be taxed against $50,000. A health savings account, or an HSA, is a type of personal savings accounts you can set up to pay certain health care costs. It allows you to put money away and withdraw it tax-free as long as it's only used for qualifying medical expenses like deductibles, co-payments, co-insurance, etc. The HSA typically requires a high deductible health plan. And the downside to a high deductible health plan is that they can be expensive. The upfront costs can be costly. When you go to the doctor, you might have to kick out a little bit more until you meet your deductible. So if you don't have a lot of health risks or a lot of concerns, it's really good for you. It's really good to get it while you're young and just in better all health. And again, drawbacks of HSAs include tax penalties for non-medical expenses before 65. So you can't draw out that money for non-medical expenses without getting penalized for it by the IRS. Just don't touch the money. You put it away, and if you need to use it for medical expenses, you'll get a credit card to use it then. You are allowed to, if you choose to, you have to set it up. You're allowed to set up an investment account for your HSA account. Invest it through a broker like Charles Schwab or Fidelity, and just invest that money into the stock market. FSAFEDS, Federal Flexible Spending Account Program. It's a program that allows certain federal employees to save money on taxes or tax shelter their money by contributing pre-tax salary to an account to pay for eligible health care and or dependent care expenses. You can't have both. You can either have the HSA or the FSA. You can have the dependent care FSA, which helps pay for like daycare expenses, summer camp, certain items that are eligible. You can have the dependent care FSA and HSA, but you cannot have both the HSA and the FSA or the healthcare FSA. Point number 4, personnel records. Soon after you onboard federal service, you will have a standard Form 50. This is a document that records personal actions that affect a federal employee's position and or pay. You want to review and understand these documents, ensuring their accuracy, as a minor error can throw off something major like your retirement. The same as with your paycheck. You want to review each line item, make sure that you understand it, and most importantly, make sure that it's correct. This will also help you when you want to track your deductions, your taxes, your allotments, etc. Point 5, FEGLI and WAEPA options. The Federal Employees Group Life Insurance, or FEGLI, is the life insurance that we get as federal employees. You're automatically enrolled unless you opt out. You're automatically enrolled in FEGLI Basic, but can purchase additional options that you should be familiar with. Once you enroll and purchase options, you can purchase down, but you cannot purchase up until there's an open season or qualifying life event. So back to our $50,000 salary, we would pay about $8.52 a pay period for basic life insurance. When you come on board, you want to study the different options, consider your salary, your age, and the amounts you'll be paying to see what best works for you. WAEPA are term life insurance options for federal employees for your consideration. Point 6, the WGI and its waiting periods. The within grade increase, or WGI, is important to understand to maximize your income growth. Just think of the WGI as an automatic pay increase in between your pay steps. And I'll talk about pay steps in a moment. Okay, so it's simple. The first 3 years, you get an automatic increase in pay every year. When you get to step 4, you get an automatic increase in pay every 2 years. And when you get to step 7, you get a pay increase automatically every 3 years until you max out at step 10. Here are the grades and steps across the general schedule. So theoretically, it could take you 15 plus years to move across the scale if you sat in the same grade. Don't do that. It's advantageous to seek promotions and or grade level changes once you reach the longer waiting periods of the WGI. Excuse me, y'all, I had to get some water. So, yeah, we're not going to sit and wait. Never stop looking to find your next role within the federal government. Get out there and network, seek detailed opportunities, take training, apply as a reassignment candidate on USA Jobs for another job. Never stop looking, even when you find a job that you like. Always be looking for the next available opportunity or growth potential, which leads me into my next point. Agency regulations. Familiarize yourself with your agency regulations and learn to advocate for yourself rather than deferring to what is convenient for your supervisor or relying on possibly incomplete or inaccurate information put out by your supervisor, co-workers, and in even some cases HR. I've seen it. Who gonna look out for you better than you? So, research the regs for the accurate answer. Point 9, government shutdowns.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No! No!
They can still happen. And though if you're out of work and you may get reimbursed for the time lost, your bills still need to be paid. And on time. They ain't waiting. So I wanted to take this time to remind you of the importance of establishing emergency funds. Open up a high-yield savings account and stash 3 to 6 months of savings there, so that if the government does shut down and you're out of paycheck for a couple of pay periods, you're covered. Point 10, get a mentor. Many federal agencies have a mentorship program, so it would be wise to connect with that program and get a mentor, especially in the early phases of your federal career. Try to connect with someone from the mentorship program instead of just a coworker, because the mentor will have invested time to make sure you're successful and offer consistent positive information and feedback. Point 11, never accept no, realistically.
Hell no, come on to the no, no, no. Hell to the no, hell to the no, to the no, no, no.
Okay, I'm not saying don't say no to unwanted solicitations and stuff like that. I'm talking about no to your growth, no to your advancement, no to your uplifting and empowerment. And definitely never accept no from someone who can't give you the yes. You hold the keys to your future and success. There are leadership development programs in federal service, OPM programs and trainings. You can take rotational assignments, details, temporary promotions. There's an acquisition, community, and certification program. There's tuition assistance, loan repayment, education allowance, discounts at partner universities, etc. A lot of potential and a lot of resources available in federal service for you to aim high. That was my list, but I got some bonuses for you. Sick leave. You get 4 hours of sick leave per pay period from the time you start until the time that you end. Treat sick leave as a form of short-term disability insurance. It can build up to be a nice cushion if you get seriously hurt or sick. You can't cash it out or take it with you when you separate from service, so be realistic about your long-term plans. If and when they sold you the dream about the job and you get there and it's really a nightmare,
I'm done. Cut the show. I'm done. Take me off.
Don't leave. Don't let anyone run you off from your position just because they're losers and are miserable. Stay the course, do your time. Complete a year of your probationary period, then move to another position. After you have attained 3 years of continuous service in a career conditional appointment, you will have permanent status and have more opportunities available for you to apply to. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.